Hello, everyone. Welcome to this somewhat or not too old visual novel. This one's called If My Heart Had Wings, aka Kono Daikura ni翼をひろげて, Snow presents Special Disc. And as the title suggests, it's a spin-off from the original If My Heart Had Wings visual novel. So the really big one with multiple stories that make up the whole visual novel. So I'm going to take a break from my usual program, and yes, there will be more episodes for the character roots in A Sky Full of Stars, but since it's around the holidays, I think it's appropriate to present this title, Snow Presents, since this title takes place around the holidays as well. So, in the original title, If My Heart Had Wings, that takes place during the summer months. Well, it makes sense because you can only fly gliders when the weather is clear. This title, Snow Presents, takes place around the winter months. So we get to see what Kazagura is like during the cold season. And what makes this title special is that it's just Kotori and Aoi in this title. So we don't get to see Ageha, Amane, the twins, not even Masasugu, the other boarders, nor even Tatsuya, Amane, and Akari. So let's see how it goes from here. And let's go ahead and start. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file just for this playthrough. And so we begin. Okay, so it is now December 20th, which is also the day that I'm presenting this visual novel. So the coldness has, let's see. So the cold weather has disappeared, and today, or actually the cold weather has deepened, and today is the beginning of the winter season and the closing ceremony for the second semester at Keifuu Academy. So school is over in the morning, and I'm prepared for the winter holiday, which will start from tomorrow, and also the fact that I'm a dorm mother for this Flying Fish Manor, so he still has work to do. So by the way, I'm using Excel Japan and Bing as a translation software, and the translation software has recent issues lately, so Google Translate doesn't work correctly. But hopefully I can get it to work for this Let's Play. So doing cleaning work is hard in winter, says Aoi. Okay, so first problem. It's hard to do laundry, so you don't have a hot sun to dry your clothes. Okay, so I'm just going to do laundry and then just find somewhere warm to hang it up inside the Flying Fish Manor. And I'm not sure if he has heaters. And we hear someone. Huh? Oh, so Kotori, you're here, so welcome back. So I'm home, Aoi. So this beautiful girl is Kotori Habane. So she's a resident of the Flying Fish Manor and is also my girlfriend. Okay, so I forgot to mention that this actually takes place at the end of Kotori's route in the original title, and I recommend that you watch or play through that first before you look at Snow Presents, since a lot of things assume that you already know what happened with Kotori in her individual character route in the original title. And as you can see, she is cute. So her smile's like an angel. Well, let's see. What else does Aoi say? So in fact, a ring of angels floating around on her proud black hair in the sunlight. Or may not also be the year called A Beautiful Girl and by Freely. Well, okay, so it's like, well, I think Kotori's too young to be called a beautiful girl. But then again, we're now in 4th year, and we're still students at the Keifuu Academy. So the Keifuu Academy is an engineering school with a 5-year program. And in a sense, I think I can consider Kotori as an adult, or she looks like an adult. So what's wrong? Well, I still think you're cute. Really? So I laugh and straighten myself up, boastfully, complacently. So my girlfriend is slightly different and isn't mistrustful. Or, let's see. So she is kind of weird and... But anyways, she's still cute. But then again, I'm not overconfident, so I have to be modest and I shouldn't exaggerate about Kotori's beauty. And apparently her proportions are well balanced. And so it's like, well, she's not full-chested like Amane, but she's still beautiful regardless. And I think Kotori's clinging on to Aoi. It's like, oh, you're warm. Yeah, I'm cold. So I'm surprised by the grasp my hand exaggerately in the cold from Kotori. It's like, oh, okay, so when Kotori clinged on to Aoi, she felt that, oh, he's cold. He's going to suffer from this weather. And she tries to warm Aoi up. So it seems to help a little bit. Okay, so Aoi rubs his hands and he breathes on it. So it's early, right? Okay, so, well, I had to go to the store because of Ageha. So, since club activities are closed or they're suspended today, Kotori said she would stop by and play at her house, so Ageha's place on the way home from school. Okay, so it's a competitive game that they've been playing for many years, and I think it's now time for Kotori to take a break. So I wonder what kind of game it is that Kotori is playing with Ageha to pass time. So it's winter, it's cold, there's no club activities. Well, they can't hold one. And plus, the weather's not right for flying.
決着は先送り。アゲハのやつ、命拾いしたわね。
So, well, I'm still in the middle of a match between Ageha, and for now, we're at a truce, so there's no winner yet. Well, I can see that Kotori's having a good time with her, so... Well, it's more like she's covering up that she's lost too many matches with Ageha.
ね、おやつある？
So what else now? So, snack? So while rubbing her hands... Okay, so she looks at me with the upward glance while rubbing her hands. So you're treating me like I'm your mother, right?
似たようなものでしょ？寮母さんなんだから。
Well, that makes sense because you're the dorm mother. Okay, so if you're hungry and you want some snack, there's some Haagen-Dazs in the fridge. And it's the macadamia nut flavor. Well, then again, it's too cold to have ice cream. Kotori wants something warm, not something cold. So I bought it myself because I wanted to eat it after work. And I think it makes more sense giving it to you as a thank you for helping me warm up. But Kotori is willing to eat it anyways. So Kotori smiles, or gives a big smile, and heads for the front door with her cane. So that cane plays a pretty big part in Kotori's route in the original If My Heart Had Wings visual novel, and I won't go into detail about that. So the footsteps are still tedious, and I am helping her step by step.
後でお仕事手伝うから。
So, okay, well, thank you for helping me, so I'm going to help you with your dorm mother work later. Well, if you want to eat a snack first, so just go in and get changed.
Hi, Mama.
Okay. So, by the way, I'm not your mother. Okay, so we have some history about Kotori. So, several years ago, Kotori got into an accident and she lost her freedom to walk. So she injured her legs, and that was also explained in Kotori's route in the original visual novel. So, because of that and the subsequent events, she left her family and came to Kazegura. So basically a way to split. And that's also explained in her route. And there are many other various events that happened. So, she did meet with many new friends, and also the glider that really brought everyone together. And if you remember, one of the big events in the original game was that it was Kotori who brought the Soaring Club and the glider to life because of that one powerful piece of history that she had in her possession. And after everything, all the setbacks, including our infamous Toriyuki Sensei and Amane and everyone else, they were able to pass or go through the passage of clouds. So that helped her regain her future, that she thought that she lost, and it kind of gave her confidence to take on the surgery. So the difficult surgery is performed at a hospital in America, and it was successful despite all the risks. And when she returned, she's on her cane, and even though it's not perfect, at least she can walk and be on her foot again. And that's what happened this spring. Okay, so we're now inside the Flying Fish Manor, and for Aoi it's like, well, it's cold in here, and it seems that it will be colder tonight, and I'll just make something warm for dinner, so a warm stew. So I finished drying the laundry, and now I'm taking a break and enjoying the warmth in the building. So I think there's a heater somewhere. And for Hat, the duck. So Hat the duck is looking at the room for Kotori with a stealthy appearance. Okay, so he just came out from her room and meets me. So what does Hat want with Aoi? Oh, so Hat, is your partner in the room, Kotori? So I'm not sure if that's a yes or no. So while he gives his answer, something from Hat's mouth drops onto the floor. So Hat, have you been bothering or taking items from Kotori's room again? Okay, so Hat goes into Kotori's room a lot and takes many belongings of Kotori out for some apparent reason. So he's taken stuffed animals, magazines, and even clothes, which is kind of odd. And now it's a notebook. So I pick it up and take a look at it. Okay, so let's see. So apparently this notebook is notes on what I want to do. So a new to-do list. I thought for a moment. Okay, so if you remember from the very beginning when Aoi tried to hide from Kotori, Kotori had this to-do list, and it later turns out that Kotori used Isuka's flight log to write in her to-do list. But it seems that for this one, it's a brand new notebook, and so this one has never been touched by anyone else, not even Isuka. And I'm sure Aoi can see that. So for the holes where you have the rings, it looks crisp and neat. And usually when it gets old, it starts to get soft. You can see lots of wrinkles and burrs and edges. Okay, so he opens it up on page 1. Okay, so it's titled, "So if the surgery goes well and I can walk again, this is what I want to do." So for starters, Kotori's handwriting is pretty neat, and So I was like, did she write this before her surgery? Okay, so if she can't walk now, what would she like to do? And so she has a list in bullet points. Okay, so for Kotori, her name makes sense. So Kotori means little bird, and like a little bird, Kotori's kind of shy and she needs help. And I'm sure Kotori had these dreams, but was just afraid to express it. And that was where Aoi came in. And I think that started around the common roots. And of course, you get to see more of it in Kotori's individual character root. It's like, well, if the surgery did fail, so if Kotori can't walk again, I'm sure as a fallback, she'll just go back to the wheelchair. And let's see. So, if I remember correctly, so Kotori mentioned that the surgery isn't 100% successful and it's actually pretty low. And the reason why she went to a hospital in America is because the surgeon is famous, and by going to him, that's like the best chance of success for Kotori to be able to walk again. And so right here it says like the successful rate is quite low, like about 1%. And in most cases it might just be impossible, so 0%. And still though, Kotori was hoping on that 1% successful chance. So I'm sure Kotori was afraid that it wasn't going to be successful in the end. But for Kotori, so she was brave enough to take the surgery, and I'm sure she was trying not to focus too much on the negatives by focusing on, okay, well, if I can't walk again, what can I do? And just be confident. Okay, so it's like, I see that there's some more items that were added after the surgery. So I think I can see like there's some text that looks newer, much more sharper than the older text. So apparently, when Kotori found out that her surgery was a success, she just went ahead and added more items to her to-do list. That makes sense. So I think she wrote those when she was in recovery and in her rehabilitation course. So I'm sure Kotori was really happy when it turned out that the surgery is successful. But then comes the grueling, painful rehabilitation course. I'm sure it hurts a lot and it was tiresome because she had to go through lots of intense, difficult training. And I'm sure it hurt so much, but then again, Kotori was happy that, well, this is like a big breakthrough for me. A big life changer for me. And of course, like, well, walking is something that you learn as a toddler. And Kotori had to learn all over again as part of her rehabilitation. But then again, let's see. So Kotori didn't complain, didn't whine, and didn't get upset, and didn't feel discouraged. And I'm sure it's because, well, the benefits, if I do get through this rehabilitation, is overwhelmingly beneficial, positive. It's some very rewarding prize that I'm willing to endure as much pain as possible to get that reward. And he notices that some of the entries have done marked on it. So the first one is, so complete all the special ramen of Taioken. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. And also, I want to have a training camp with the Soaring Club, which is not appropriate now, but still, she did it anyways. So it might have been too, or like Kotori kind of rushed it too quickly. Okay, so what else does Kotori have on her to-do list that gets Aoi's interest? Okay, so there's some other items that don't have anything to do with her being able to walk. So, one example, I want to eat Haagen-Dazs. And she can do that even if she's still in a wheelchair, like we've seen in the very beginning of the original visual novel. And I'm sure if someone else looks at this notebook, they're just going to laugh like, wait, this is nothing to celebrate about. It's just obvious. Just go get an ice cream and you're done with it. But for I always like, well, I know Kotori and I know what she has to go through, and I'm sure for Kotori, eating that Haagen-Dazs ice cream is like a big accomplishment. Something big to keep in her memories. And I know how significant that accomplishment is for Kotori. There you go. So, I can also feel how happy she would be with that accomplishment, and I'm sure no one else could understand. It's like, oh, so why is Kotori being all happy just for eating ice cream? That makes her look weird. Okay, so Kotori's like, wait, so where is it? Wait, not here. So, where did it go? Well, Hat, I'm sure you had something to do with it, so come here. Hello? This is Hat. So, where is my notebook? So act stupid. So Hat looks at Aoi. It's like, he did it. Okay, so what does Aoi say? Oh, so you mean this notebook, that fell out of Hat's mouth? Okay. Let's see, so Kotori's like, oh, so he has no idea what's going on. And it's like, well, the notebook just fell out of Hat's mouth and landed right in front of me, and then Kotori, at perfect timing, just steps out and looks for it. Oh, there it is. So, Hat, no more tricks on me. And I think Hat did it on purpose because he wants to be petted. He just wants the attention from Kotori. So, Kotori hugs the notebook in front of her chest. Importantly, okay, so she first picks up the notebook, even though it's difficult for her because, you know.
見てない。
Okay, so she looks at. I was like, so, do you see it? Do you see what was in there? See, I didn't see anything, says Aoi.
本当。
Really? So, are you lying to me? No. I'm honest. I'm being truthful, so I didn't see anything in that notebook.
そう。ならいいの。
Okay, so Kotori trusts Aoi. Okay, so what does Aoi ask Kotori? Oh, so what is it about that notebook? So why is it a big problem?
乙女の秘密よ。もし見たら記憶が消えるまで葵の頭をフライパンで叩くからボッコボコよ。
So it's a secret, a main secret. And if I do find out that you did peek inside this notebook, I'm gonna beat you up and I'm gonna smash you with a frying pan until you lose your memory and forget that what was in my notebook. And I'm sure for Kotori, she will literally do it if I do reveal to her that I found out what was in there. So she's really going to beat Aoi up, and I gotta be careful around her.
ねえ、カナたちは？
So anyways, moving on, it's like, oh, so where's Kanatachi? So I'm sure Kotori's referring to Kanako, and that was the first person Aoi met when he first entered the Flying Fish Manor in the original visual novel, and it was quite a fuss when he found Kanako in her underwear, and it was a girls' dormitory. Okay, so they all went home. So Sanae and Ryoko have returned already, and let's see. So for Kanako and Asa-chan, they're going to go home tomorrow morning. And I think Yori already returned. And I'm not sure about Yuka, so the last boarder. So basically, all the other boarders went home for the winter holidays. And it's quite surprising that Kanako is able to go home. And if you remember the common route for the original visual novel, it was that the reason why Kanako was assigned to stay here is because she's always in her underwear, and her mother was disappointed and kicked Kanako out. It was quite shocking to Kotori and Aoi, the fact that Kanako repeated the same mistake or the same problem while being at the Flying Fish Manor. And despite numerous attempts from Kotori and Aoi to tell her to get dressed and not walk around in her underwear all the time, Kanako still does it. It's like, well, I'm hot. And, well, anyways. So basically, it's the holidays, and it makes sense for everyone to go back to their place for the year. And for you, Kotori, so I wonder, why do you not want to go home? So go back to Tokyo with your mother and the father and Hibari.
お正月に帰れば十分。部長の私が部活を休むわけにはいかないしね。
It's like, well, I actually plan to return home when New Year strikes. So, I really want to spend more time with the club members and do more club work. Which is quite strange because it's winter and they can't fly gliders. But I'm sure it's like, well, I just want to be with the other club members of the Soaring Club and do activities together. So that's where the card game, or like that game, comes into play. So for me, Aoi, let's see. So why doesn't Aoi want to go home? Oh, so it's like, well, for Kotori it makes sense because she can also use this opportunity to do more practices and be able to walk. And I'm sure it's like, well, if she does go home, all she'll do is just sit around, and it's like, well, don't worry about anything else until it's time for you to go back to school for the new year. Okay, so for Kotori, it's like, well, the Habane family are all really friendly people, but I'm sure with regards to Kotori, they're way too overprotective of her. They care about her too much. And if you remember in Kotori's route, that was the reason why Kotori went to the Flying Fish Manor. It's like, well, I'm tired of all this overprotectiveness, and it's gotten so annoying. And she had to make really big compromises to be able to stay here and attend Keifuu Academy. Okay. So you also get this chance to practice walking.
ということは、大晦日まで二人きりなのか。
So now that I think of it, it's just gonna be the two of us for until New Year's, right? New Year's Eve.
それってまるで新婚夫婦みたいだわ。
So that makes us seem like a newly married couple. Apparently, Kotori's imagining something selfishly, and it kind of makes Aoi blush.
楽しい冬休みにしましょうね。
Well, I'm sure we'll have a very fun and exciting winter holiday. And when she says so, okay, so she takes the notebook with her and goes back to her room. A fun winter break, or a fun winter holiday. And I was like, well, I still remember some of the items on that to-do list. Well, I'm sure next year we're going to start to become worried about other things. Okay, so let's see. So this might be our last winter holiday where we get to enjoy and relax. So we're now in 4th year in this 5-year program at Keifuu Academy, and I'm sure next year we're going to be busy figuring out what we're going to do once we graduate from Keifuu Academy. So usually that's the time when they're busy studying for entrance exams to college. And the entrance exams are really hard. Okay, well, I've decided. So I'm going to grant all the wishes for Kotori during this winter holiday break. So the winter holidays start tomorrow, and I've made a small determination in my heart. Okay, so this is the opening for If Our Heart of Wings Still Presents, and I'm gonna go ahead and skip it, and let's see what happens next. So hold on for a minute. Okay, so we're now on this calendar, and this is kind of like the main menu for this entire Still Presents visual novel. So we just saw what happened on December 20th, which is today. So that's the prologue. And tomorrow we're going to see what's going to happen with Kotori and Aoi at the Flying Fish Manor. So this is also a good place to stop for this episode. So, unlike the other visual novels, where I usually try to play up to an hour, well, for these pull top titles, I'm going to have an episode for each day on this calendar. So there will be 13 episodes in total. And we're going to see what happens with Kotori tomorrow. So I'm going to play this and upload this daily, starting from today. So I'm going to try to sync the dates on this calendar with the date that I'm presenting each of the episodes. So for example, when it's tomorrow, December 21st, I'm going to show what happens with Kotori and Aoi during the events in December 21st. And I will have to skip some of the little events because they're actually H scenes. So even though this is a small title, there are still H scenes in there. So I'm going to play those or run through those off the camera. So anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you tomorrow.